Okay, so week one, what is Java, difference between JDK, JRE, and all the stuff. Last week was your first session. I asked you guys to take a look into all these videos that I have mentioned in week number one, and then basically try to complete the assignments that I have given you so that you can get familiarized with the coding and the expectation from the class, right? I will walk through the topics first. I am expecting that you have gone through all these videos and you will be stopping me in between to ask questions. That is the expectation out of it. Because if you don't ask questions, then I wouldn't know your situation with your current learning. So please do ask me questions, otherwise it won't really help you out. Yeah. So let's go and let's open up the first presentation here. Okay. So this is the introductory. Forget about that. All right. Let's start with the simple slide. What is JVM? Java Virtual Machine. Okay. Java Virtual Machine is a concept. It's not something that physically exists. It's a concept and an abstraction over operating system to execute a compiled Java code. That's the first thing you should be understanding. What is compilation? In simple terms, the program that you're writing is in simple English. Your machine doesn't know how to interpret that, right? So you have to use something in between to compile it and to make it machine readable, basically to make it a byte code so that the machine or Java virtual machine will be able to execute it. Java virtual machine is a layer, is basically an environment in which your Java programs are going to be executed. Okay, Java virtual machine is not the operating system. You are installing the JDK in your system. That is why you have enabled Java virtual machine for your operating system. And this JDK or the Java virtual machine is basically sitting on top of your operating system. It is internally communicating with the operating system. But for you, all that matters is that you have a Java environment to eventually execute your Java program. That is what you are concerned about. Okay? Java virtual machine cannot execute an uncompiled version of the code. So you need to write the code in simple English, convert it to a compiled version, and then JVM will execute it. That's the take of this particular slide. Simple, okay? I can prove this to you by showing you some examples. If you have watched my video, you will know that I have actually done that in the video as well. Okay, Keith, can you hear me out loud and clear?
Yep, I can.
Okay, very good. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. All right, what is Java JRE? Okay, so there are two different things that you must be concerned about. One is called JRE and one is called JDK. All right, so JRE is basically the system that includes JVM and some libraries. So what is library? For now, when you are starting at the very beginning, you don't know what is a library. Library is nothing but, like you and me, some people have already coded, say, maybe 100 different programming files. So in Java world, the programming files are in .java format. The extension of that file is .java. So maybe they have implemented hundreds of these .java files and they have packaged them together to make it as a library. Basically, they are zipping them together to make it as a bundle, nothing more than that. So you have, say, maybe file system.java. I'm just giving some names, and then I'm saying, IO, input output, io.java. Okay. So similarly, there are like hundreds and thousands of class files or Java files, which has been implemented by Java engineers, and they are adding them, or they are bundling them into some kind of a system that we call as a jar. Okay, what is jar? Let's not go into that. I'll talk about it later on. But it's basically they're bundling them together into one single entity, and that bundle is basically called a library. Okay, so JRE is the component that has JVM, because you need JVM in order to execute your program. That's number one, you need that. And then along with that, you have certain libraries so that you can execute the program. JVM is the environment, and libraries are the additional support that you require to execute a Java program. So in order to execute a Java program, all you need is JRE, period. In order to execute a Java program, all you need is a JRE. For example, I am implementing a Java program, okay? And I am giving that Java program to you, okay? You don't need to have anything else other than JRE to execute that program. Okay, so there are two different things in Java world that you must be understanding. One is JRE, other one is JDK, Java Development Kit. I made you guys install Java Development Kit. Why do I need this? I need this because I am making you guys to implement Java programs. I want you guys to implement a Java program, and Java Development Kit can help you do so. Why it is? Because it has some more additional features. Let's go into it. So you see, this is what a JDK looks like. So JDK obviously contains the JRE section, like this, okay? But along with that, it also comes with few other stuff like dev tools, okay? Which contains something called as Java C and another file called Java and XYZ, right? So this entire thing makes your life easier to implement a Java program. And then executing it and then compiling it, everything. So for example, I was just talking about this particular section here, right? Where I said you need to have a compiler in between in order to compile a source file to a bytecode. I told you that. This compiler is coming out of Java C. Java C is a file, I can show it to you. Java C is a file that makes you compile a Java program into a bytecode that can be executed in a Java virtual machine environment. Is this making sense to everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good, very good. Guys, please stop me if you're having any doubt, all right? Let's move on. So that's JDK, perfect. How is Java a platform independent language? How is that possible? Okay, so in this current batch, some of you are using a Mac, okay? Some of you are using a Mac, some of you are using a Windows, right? The best part with Java is that the person who is implementing the program in Mac can share the code to the person who is implementing or who is running the program in Windows, and vice versa. This is called platform independent. You implement the program in one environment and you execute it in another environment. How is this possible? This is possible because I made you install platform specific JDKs. If you remember, I told you go to the oracle.com site, java.com site, and then install the JDK. The JDK that is built for Mac or the one that is built for Windows. I made you install that. Now, when you actually install that, what happens is you are creating a runtime environment for your own operating system. For your own operating system, you have implemented or you have created or you have enabled a runtime environment. So when you have the runtime environment, I told you from the other diagram, if you remember, that Java runtime environment is nothing but something that sits on top of the operating system. So it doesn't really matter which operating system you are actually on, whether it's Mac or Windows, it doesn't matter, right? All you need is a Java virtual machine that you have already enabled by installing the respective JDK. And then all you do is you go and run your program. The only thing that you must be focusing is how do I compile it? As soon as you compile it, it gets changed to the bytecode format, and bytecode format is readable by the JVM. So it doesn't matter in which environment you have implemented it and in which environment you are executing it. Very simple thing to understand. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next part. Okay. Let's see this entire thing in action. Okay. Let's see this entire thing in action. Whatever I just said. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly do something. I'm going to go to my desktop, and inside this, I'm going to quickly create a file. Okay. So I'm just going to create a file named text file. And in the text file, I think this one. Okay. Let's rename as, okay, I'm giving a name to this. I'm going to give the name as first Java program. Okay. So remember the name that you specify in this file, because I'm going to convert Pappy, you're not able to hear me out? Is it a problem with only Pappy or everybody else?
Yeah. Yes, I have a problem. So despite I've increased the volume to 100%, but I can't hear you. I don't know if the problem is from your side or no.
Okay, Shay is saying everything is fine. What about others, guys?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
I can hear you. Yeah.
I can hear too.
Fine for me too.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Pappy, you probably have to use a headset or something like that, because everybody else can hear me out properly. Do you have a headset or something like that? Pappy?
Hello?
Yeah, can you use some headset?
With a big problem with difficulty. I can't hear you really.
No,
anyway, let us continue, no problem, because last time I heard you proper at 100%, but today I don't know why.
No, I think you have to use your headphone or earphone, something like that. I don't know, everybody else is able to hear me out, Papi.
Yes, I have got the headphone. I put my headphone, but last time I couldn't even put the headphone, but you were 100% listened to me. But anyway, let's just continue. So
can you see if your headphone has the volume rocker?
Okay, I'll check it. Thanks very much. Sorry, Suzuki, you can continue, please. So
okay,
thanks.
no, thank you. Okay. All right, so I am creating this file called first Java program. And this file, I am giving this name because when I'm converting this file to a .java file, I want my program to be executed. So I'm going to write a program inside this particular file. Basically, I'm going to create a Java class. And I want to name the class the same as the file name. That's my motive. So I'm just saying first Java program. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to open this file just like that. And then I'm going to say some syntax. The syntax is not, you're not familiarized with the syntax because you're learning Java for the first time, but then you will get to it, okay? So I'm saying public class, let me increase the font a little bit. Okay, so public class and first Java program, and this is my section, this bracket from here to here. This is the section in which I can write a code that will be executed. Okay, and then the next line I will say public static void main. And then in the bracket, whatever I'm writing, it will not make sense to you, but it will eventually later on. But right now, just follow my lead. So string array of args, and then I'm gonna just close this section. And then I'm going to simply run a sysout statement or a console logging statement. I want to print something in my console. So basically it will go like system dot out dot print ln. That's it. And I'm gonna just write the command or just print. This is my first Java program. And this simple piece of code will be printing some text in your console. This file is right now a text file. First thing, what I have to do is I have to simply change its extension. Changing its extension is very simple. You go to File, you go to Save As, and in the same location, I'm going to say all files first, and then you say .java. That's the first thing that you want to do. As soon as you do this, your extension of this file will be changed from text to Java. That's number one. So I'm done with that. Let's see, where are you? Here, first Java program. You can see the icon is changed. All right. If you open this file, nothing changes ideally. Everything is English. It's still English. And if you try to execute this file, nothing will be actually executed. Nothing. Okay. So as a developer, as a Java developer, what do? I am not going to give this file to my client for the execution. Okay. Because all you want to provide is as I said earlier, the Java runtime environment can execute a compiled version. This version that you have right now is an uncompiled version. If you give this to your client will not be able to execute it, right? So this has to be compiled. How do you compile this? You compile this with the help of the compiler. The compiler is Java-C. So let's open up your command prompt. All right. So this is the location where I will open up my command prompt. CMD. Command prompt or terminal in your Mac. And you just go CD and this location and you go here. And then all you run the program. So firstly, you have to check whether Java is installed in your system or not. So obviously for me, it is installed. It's installed. And then the next thing that you would like to run here is Java-C. Java-C. Java-C is the program that will let you compile the file from English written text to something that is machine readable, right? So all you do is Java C and then just say the name of the file. So first Java program.java, hit enter, and it is compiled. It is not giving anything in the feedback. It's not giving anything in this location. But if you look into the same folder again, now you'll see that there are two files. One is first Java program and this another one, right? Let me actually do one thing. Let me actually make this guys as, why is it not view details? Yeah. So now if you see, you see here, first Java program is a class file and first Java program is a Java file. Two files are there. This file was there earlier and this file just got created right now. You see 926 and 926 and 928, right? So this is the class file that I created. Now the best part is I'm going to just copy this file, okay? And I'm going to put this in my Slack channel. And I'm going to ask one of you to help me execute this in your system. Somebody who is having Mac. So I'll go to Hirsch maybe. So that's there. Hirsch, you have Mac. Can you just share me your screen, number one? Let me give you the control first. So
sure.
Here you have the control. You can share the screen now.
Sorry, 1 second. I have to allow it in system preferences.
Yeah, I know.
So that I can share. Yeah, 1 second.
No problem. All right, so I can see your screen now. Can you quickly download that file, keep it in any of your location? You don't need the Eclipse also to execute this. Just download that from the Slack channel. And open up your terminal in the same location wherever you are downloading it. Can't see your screen anymore. Okay, I can see your screen now. The file is in the channel. Can you open the channel, please? Yeah, you need to bring that window here, the screen that you're sharing is just a blank screen. And if you're talking, I can't hear you, man. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. I can see your screen though. I can't hear you. I don't know why. Is it something that Mac is blocking? I don't know. Can you try to speak, Hirsch? I can't hear you. I want to test this in a Mac machine, so that's why. No, Harsh, I can't hear you. I don't know why. Just a minute. Is there a problem with my side? Oh yeah, it's a problem with my side, I think. Hold on. Can you talk now, Harsh? Can you talk now, Harsh?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you
Hello?
now. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sorry about that. I don't
That's
know.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Just open up your screen and
Yep.
bring this window here.
The where it was downloaded.
Yes, please. Okay, very good. And then yeah, that's the file. Now in the same location, can you copy this to somewhere where you can open the terminal? Can you copy this to another drive or something like that, or a different folder?
Yeah, I have terminal open with me. I'll copy this file.
You're putting it somewhere?
Yeah, I have it in a folder.
Okay, very good.
On
Now
desktop.
access the same location in your terminal.
Yeah. Desktop. The folder is on desktop. So
Probably you can right click on that folder and just say open in terminal. Not this, but on the folder itself. And can you say right click on open in terminal? Yeah, new terminal or folder. New terminal at folder. Yeah, that's it. Open that
okay.
and bring that screen. That's perfect. Can you just say, yeah, can you just say Java? Just say Java and then just say space and then just say first, capital F, and then tab, just tab. That's it, right? So just remove that dot class from the end. Okay, and hit enter, please. Do you see that, everyone? This file was implemented here in my Windows machine. In that file, I have console logged one line. This is my first Java program. I have given that file to him, which is in a Mac machine, and he is able to execute it without any problem. Why is that? Because it's all about Java runtime environment specific to your operating system. This is what I wanted to prove, and that's the reason why I asked him to share the screen. Thanks, Harsh. No problem. I will quickly move on to my screen share then. So, okay, good. So everybody can see my screen. And all right. Okay. So let's just go back to this guy. So I just showed that to you here in this slide deck. Java installation and configuration, I believe most of you have done that. Eclipse installing is done, I believe. Let's go to the next one. All right. Class 2. And here it is, class 2 presentation. All right. So what do we need to do here? So creating a class with the main method. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to the Eclipse now. So Eclipse is basically the integrated environment in which you will be writing your Java programs. You will be creating Java projects. You will be writing Java programs. Simple. So then what do you do here is I'm just taking down all the unwanted panels, like this outline not required, like this Java doc and declaration not required. On the left-hand side, you're going to see the list of projects. On the right-hand side, you're going to write the program. That's all the view that you're looking for, okay? So you can say file, you can say new, you can say Java project, something like this. And then this is our first project. So I'm going to say week 1 summary class, something like that. All right. And then just say finish. When you do it, you're going to get this window. It says create module info. You don't need to say create here. Say don't create. All right. Don't create. And that creates your first project. This project, if you look into it, this project has few different components. Number one, you have a SRC folder, a source folder inside which you need to add your programs. You also have by default attached a JRE system library, Java Runtime Environment System Library. If you expand this, you will see, as I said, there are hundreds of jar files. This is a jar file, guys. With this icon, you can know. You see this jar file? These are the jar file. Also, you can look at the extension of it. You see? jrt.ts and .jar, fs.jar. That's a jar file. What is the jar file? Let's expand this. If you expand this, you'll see that in this jar file, there are hundreds of these square boxes, and these are called packages. So it's a jar. It's a jar. A jar can have multiple packages. Package. Package. And each and every package, if you open it up, you will see that each and every package is having, you see, dot class extension, and you see there are hundreds and thousands of files with dot class extension. What is this? These packages are having compiled Java files, Java class, or compiled class files, I should say, class files. You see that? So basically, when you compile a Java file into a machine readable format, then it becomes a class. So this is what it means. So you basically create hundreds of Java files. Simple as that. You create hundreds of Java files, all right? .java files. You put them together inside a package. You put them inside into a package, all right? And then you can create thousands of these packages and then create a jar file out of it. Okay, so when you are creating a jar file out of it from this whole hundreds of packages that you have created, when you're creating a jar file out of it, whatever the files that you have inside the package, all the .java files, they will be compiled into class files. Okay, so if you open up a jar file at any given point in your career, you will always see that it contains only the class files. Correct? Because they are all compiled together to become a class file. I mean, they got compiled while you were packaging them together. So I was talking about building a package, right? So this jar file is that package that you are going to build. Okay, I will show you how to build that also later on. Okay, but for now, let's carry on. So this is basically the library. So you see, thousands of jar files becomes a library, and we can create and we will add in future hundreds of libraries like this into our project. Okay, fine. So let's go and create a package first. So new package, just like that. Okay. And you can just give the name, say I'm saying Java first, something like that. And then that's my package. It's an empty package right now. And I'm going to say right click, new class. And let's give the name as first Java program, something like that. And then I'm going to checkbox, I'm going to click on this checkbox called public static void main. By doing this, what will happen is you will create a file. And if you look at it closely, you are actually adding this section automatically in this file. So by clicking on that checkbox, you're just saving a second of your work, right? Let me increase the font size so that you can see it. Preferences, font, colors and fonts. Let's go to basic. Text font, edit. Let's go 14. Okay. Up and close. So I think it's a little bit bigger for you to see. Okay. So you have simple text here. What is it? Let's look at the first line. Package Java first. What does it mean? It means that this file is residing inside a package named as Java first, right? That's what it is saying. Number two is this syntax, which I showed you a few minutes back. So public class first Java program. What is a class? What is public? I will explain this to you in future. But for now, all you need to be concerned about is that in this structure that you see here, you can write something which will be executed. Okay, for example, I can just say sysout. You see, this is the beauty of editor. I can write shortcuts. I am saying syso and I'm hitting control and space, and this gives me suggestion to fill up the line. Okay, so anyway, so syso testing my program. All right, testing my program. And if I just go and try to execute this in my Eclipse, how do I do it? I just go and say right click on this file and say run as Java application. Now always remember something, guys. Remember this. If you don't have a file that has this section, public static void main, if you don't have this file, this section, then you will never see Shay, try to send the message in the direct channel. You're sending directly to me. Okay, you create the package like this, right click on the src folder, new package, just like that. All right, that's it. So what I'm saying is this main section, if it isn't there, you will never see the option to run as Java application. You will never see that. Okay, why is it so? I just said, Shay, you need to right click on the src folder and go to new and then click on package.
Yeah, sorry, I've got that. And then you have to name, it comes up with name, right? So do you just name it as what you've put it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right. So what I'm saying is that without this main section up here, you cannot open up or you cannot run this program. Okay, so you will not even see this option, Java application. You will not see that. So anyway, I'm saying it because I have the main method, and I'm clicking on this line. If I do it, you can see something that in my console of this Eclipse, right? I can see this line got printed, testing my program. Now the question to you is, this file is a .java file. Okay, it is not a .class file, but still, if I am executing it, how come this program is getting executed? I'm not converting this to dot class file. Yeah. Okay, let me increase the font again. Edit. Is that better for everyone now? Yes, no?
Can
Should
you
I?
make
Sorry, Shay, can't hear you.
it any bigger? If you can make it any bigger, does it go any bigger? It's really small. I don't know on this setting. If you in Zoom, you can't increase it, can you? On our side, like screen size options.
Sorry, are you guys able to see my whole screen or it is squeezed up?
That's fine. That's fine. It's okay now. Thank you.
It's okay now? All right, good. Perfect. Okay. That's good. So then what do I do is I go ahead and okay, so what I was saying that can you realize that I didn't really compile this .java file to a .class file, but still this program got executed and gave me the output. Now, why did that happen? How is that possible? Without compiling it, how did I get my program to run correctly? It's happening because if you go inside the project that you just created, so this is a project, right? Week 1 summary class. This is a project in Eclipse. So if I just right click on this and then check show in System Explorer, right? If you just click on this option, right click on the project, show in System Explorer. If you do that, you will see this window opens up, right? This window is showing you that Jan 2022 WizQA is the workspace, Eclipse workspace, inside which I have this folder called as week 1 summary class. If you open this folder, you are going to see a few more files and folders. Number 1, you're going to see .settings folder. You're going to see .class path, .project. You can see all these guys in here. Why are you seeing this? These folders and files are not something that you should be concerned about, because this is something that is internally used by the Eclipse program. The Eclipse tool is keeping a track of your project and it's doing some of its own calculations, which is why it has all these folders, .settings, .class path, .project. All right. You should not be concerned about that. You should be concerned about SRC folder only. You see, there is another folder got automatically created called bin folder. All right. And I see SRC folder and the bin folder. If you open up the SRC folder, you will see that Java first is a directory. So package in Java is nothing but a simple directory, a simple folder, nothing fancier than that. All right. So it's a folder, Java first. If you open this file folder, you will see that you have a file. The name of the file is first Java program, and it's of type Java, the same thing that you're seeing here. The exact same thing that you are seeing here. First Java program, and this is first Java program, same file. Now this is a Java file, correct? There is no existence of .class file yet. But if you just scroll back up to the bin folder, then you will see something, a remarkable situation is happening. If you open this bin folder, bin means what? Bin means not dustbin. Bin means binary. It's a binary folder. Inside the binary folder, if you go in, you're going to see that it is following up the same pattern that you have seen in the SRC folder. Like in SRC folder, you have Java first. In bin folder, you have a Java first. If you open the Java first folder, you see the file first Java program. However, this file is not a .java file anymore. It's a class file. Look at the type. So who compiled it? Somebody compiled it, right? The Java file got somehow compiled to a class file. Who did that? Eclipse is having its own compiler. As soon as you save the file, it gets compiled to the most updated version. That's what Eclipse does. You don't have to worry about compiling your Java program ever again. You save it, it's compiled. As simple as that. And you see, this is the .class file. Now, if you just open this file, you see this? It's all a machine readable format. We cannot interpret this. Correct? So that's what happens. When you compile a Java file, it gets compiled to a bytecode, a machine readable format, which you and me will never be able to figure out. So can you guys give me a confirmation that you understand whatever I just spoke about? Yes, no.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody else, just start. You can do this. You can go to your participant section and then start putting the thumbs up, right? So that you don't have to write it all the time. You can just do that here in the participant section in the Zoom itself, and just put thumbs up, and then it'll be easier for you to communicate with me. Okay, perfect. So that's that with the first thing. Okay, let's move on to, I just spoke about creating a class, main class, blah, 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 create a simple program to add numbers. All right, let's understand this main method now. Okay, and before I understand the main method, I will take a quick 5 minutes break. I'm going to give you 5 minutes for a breather. Just take a breather, and then we'll come back, and then we'll continue. All right, so we will try to finish up this entire week program. It's not too much here. We have, by the way, I want to let you guys know something. That is, I have said that this entire program is going to run for 4 months, but it may not run for just 4 months. It can go to 4.5 months. All right. Why am I saying this? Because at times what happens is when we are discussing a lot of intense topics, it's highly possible that we are going to overlap some of the weeks. For example, some of the intense topics when I'm discussing in the live call, probably in 2.5 hours or 3 hours, I'll not able to finish it off, right? And then I will not be enabling you for the next week of content. Rather, I will take it slow, and I will talk to you about the same topic one more time in the next week, so that you guys are completely clear about those topics. Remember, guys, my motive here is not to do business. My motive here is to give you the best, so that as soon as you get out of this program, you can start applying for a job. There's so many people I have got them into the program, and they figured out. I helped them to get a job after this program is complete. So it is that what I am aiming for. Okay, so we'll take it slow. I have said it's 16 weeks, but it might maybe 18 weeks or 19 weeks. That's totally okay, as long as I am able to deliver you all these 16 weeks of content, because this is highly important. I cannot say, so I'll tell you something. Once we are in this state, like maybe, yeah, week number 12. From week number 12, once you understand the week number 12, after week number 12, if you want, you can start applying for a job. Okay, because until week number 12, we will be learning about Java and framework implementation from web application perspective. Once you are completing week number 12, you can eventually start looking for a job, but I would still prefer that you should at least learn API testing and Cucumber before you go to the job market, before you start applying for the job, right? So week number 14 is the API testing, and week number 13 is the Cucumber framework. It's another type of framework. So there are 5 different frameworks I'm covering up here, 5 different frameworks. So once you are understanding these whole topic, you will have a much stronger portfolio to show to the client, right? And that's how people are landing into the job. Okay, anyway, I'll take a 5 minutes break. You take a breather as well, and then I'll come back and start. Thank you, guys. I'll just quickly stop the recording. All right, everybody is back. We can start now. Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
No?
yeah.
All right. Good. Perfect. Okay. So now that we are looking at the sorry, the next thing is here. Okay. Public static void main is what we will be looking at. What is the syntax that I am so much concerned about? Number one that you should be understanding is public static void main is, as I said, PSVM, public static void main, right? PSVM is the entry point to your program. Entry point to your program. Your program will get started from somewhere, right? Because in your project, you will not have just one file, you will have hundreds of files, right? So some file will be the entry point or the kickoff point from where the program gets started. And then it creates a chain of other calls to other files in a particular order, the order that you define. Okay, so PSVM, public static void main, is the entry point that you have to understand. Number two is these keywords that are important for us to understand. So in Eclipse, all the keywords that you are looking at, they're all highlighted in red. Okay, so the first keyword is public. Public is a keyword, but it is basically used to define access. What is access? Why do I need that? I'll talk about this in details, but not now. All right, it is the access. Static is a keyword, and I cannot explain this to you right now because it is so much. It requires a proper platform first. I have to show you the entire story between static and non-static, and then it will make sense. So you can just, for now, just say it's a keyword. Void is basically the return type from a method. Void is a return type. Okay, so return type, when I'm saying, it means what? It means that, I'll talk about that in details also, but for now, this program, when you are executing this main program or main method, this line over here, this entire thing is nothing but, it's a main method. It's a method, all right? What is method? I'll talk about that later on, but for now, it is a method, all right? So PSVM is a method. I'll just put it here. It's a method. So this method, the name of this method is a main, and this main method is the entry point. Public is a keyword to provide access. Static is a keyword, which I'll explain later. Void is a return type. So the main method is not returning back any information. That is what it means by return type. So methods are capable of executing some program within itself. Also, it can return back some information. So this method is the first category, which can execute some program within itself, and it is not supposed to return back any information. That is the definition of public static void main. That is the definition of a main method. Simple. All right. This main method also accepts, so method in Java, methods can accept something called as parameters. All right. So the fifth point is parameter, params or arguments, ARGS. So this method, this particular method, which is the main method, is accepting an argument which is of type string array. What is an array? I'll talk about that later on. But for now, you can see it's a string array. You define an array with the square brackets, string array. This is what a signature, this is the signature of a main method. I can prove this to you in a very simple manner. Let me just clear this section. All right. And let me go back to the program. Just like that. I have a main method, which is the entry point to this program. So say this is the entry point. Entry point. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to exactly make another main method in the same file. Copy and paste. If I do it, Java will complain. Java will say that in the same file, I cannot keep two different methods with the same signature. Okay, so if you hover your mouse on this red line, it says clearly duplicate method main string array in type first Java program. First Java program is the class inside which it has found two different main methods that follows the same signature. All right, so I'll just make a quick tweak to this. What I'll do is I will not say that the second main method requires a string of array as an argument, but just a string, just like that. As soon as I did that, the error is gone. Now these two methods are now in the same location. This is not the entry point. And testing program, I just copy this line and just put it here. What I'm trying to prove is that when I execute my program, Java virtual machine, the JVM environment, right? Java virtual machine is looking for, it's specifically looking for this signature out here. It is not looking for this signature. And I can prove that to you by running this program, run as Java application. If I do that, you'll see that this line got printed, not this line, which clearly supports that to make a main method to work as an entry point, you need to have this parameter and this entire signature should be same. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to make you understand. Other thing that I want to make you understand is this. In Java, everything is scope specified. Scope specified. What do I mean by that? You can see that this Java program right here is having a scope, meaning opening of a flower brace, closing of a flower brace, right? So this is the scope of this class file. Okay. Public static void main, it has its own scope. You see, this is the entry, this is the start, this is the end. Again, this one, it has its own scope. So everybody is having their own scope. Meaning, if you are creating a variable inside this main method, for example, I'm creating a variable here, int num equals 10, just like that. I'm creating this variable int num equals 10. This is how you create a variable. So this is the, all you're saying here is that you are creating a variable of type integer. Integer meaning it can store numbers, like not fractional numbers, whole numbers. It can store numbers. So int num equals 10. Okay, I'm declaring a variable. Now this variable is not accessible out of this guy. Let me try to access it here. Sysout. I want to print the value sysout of this num. If I said num, just like that, this num is not resolved to a variable. You see, num cannot be resolved to a variable. Simple, because this guy is not accessible here. I mean, this num guy is not accessible here because it is defined in the scope. However, if I declare a variable like here, say static int, I'll talk about static later on, but just follow my lead. Static int num2 equals 200. If I say that, now this guy over here, by the way, just for now to understand, static is, so this variable is, I have defined this variable with a static keyword so that a method that has static keyword can access it. I'm mentioning it here. A static variable can be accessed inside a static method, something like that. Okay, just for now, you remember this. There is much more to it in static, but I'm just giving you a little bit of pointers. For now, this is enough. So this guy, if you see in my program right now, if I say sysout, right, and if I say I want to print out the value of num2, right, you can see this num2, because I declared this in the global space. It's a global space, or global scope. I'll say global space. That's better. So I'm declaring this num2 variable in the global space, which is why you can see that in this section, in this method, num2 is accessible. Even this guy can access num2. You see that? The second main method can also access num2, no problem at all, because it's in the global space. But if you are declaring something in the local space, it's a local space, then that won't be possible. Nobody else other than this location can access this variable. So everybody has a scope. Now I want to show you something. If I remove this static keyword from here and I try to save it, you see immediately I'm getting some error. All I want you to understand is this error. Okay, don't understand. I mean, right now it will not make sense if I say you why this error is. The error is this. It says cannot make a static reference to a non-static field num2. Meaning what? Meaning num2 is right now a non-static element. So all this line is trying to say is that a static method cannot access a non-static variable, which is why I added a static here. Okay, but as I said, it is much more to it other than just this. For now, you can just skip on. You can remember that if you have to use a variable in the global space in the main method, just add a keyword called static to it. Okay, so that is what it's talking. That's what is about the scoping in the program. So let's move on to the other section here. Okay.
Sorry, Souvik, just a quick question, please.
Go on.
If you go back to your program, the one which you've written, so in this case where you have removed static from the global space, you've just mentioned int num2 equal to 200.
Yeah.
If you had another method which is not static, like public void main, your second method,
Yeah.
would you be able to access num2
Yeah.
in there?
Yeah, you will be. You will be. Look.
Okay.
Look. So I'm removing this guy here with the static keyword, and I'm removing the static keyword from here. And then you can see the first guy is having a problem, but second guy is not having any problem.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah, good question. Okay. The next thing that you will try to understand is string array of args. What is this? It's a parameter. Methods can have parameter or arguments, or they cannot all. They can also have. They can also. There are methods without parameters as well. Okay, so methods can have parameters, not one but multiple parameters, and it can be without parameters as well. So as I said, the main method requires this particular signature, string array args, string of array args. So array means what? Array means you're trying to process multiple information inside one single entity. You're trying to process multiple data inside one single entity. That is an array. Okay, for now. I'll talk about that later. So what I'm trying to say is that I am going to make some modification to this file, or maybe to the file that I created a few minutes back in my program here. So if you remember, this was my file, right? Here I said, this is my first Java program, correct? And this is basically an array, as I said. So if it's an array, and as I said, it's an array means it can process multiple different information together. So my motive is that I want to specify multiple names, and then I want to basically print out this line respective to each and every name. Let me just show you the program. It will make sense. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to use a loop here. When you have multiple data and you want to work with each and every entity of that data, okay, you will use loops. Okay, so there are different kind of loops. I'll talk about that later on. But for now, I'm using a for each loop. Let me just show you the syntax. So for string name colon args. That's my simple loop. And the loop is also having its own scope, as you can see. There's a scope from here to here. That's a scope. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this whole line, cut it, and paste it here within the scope. My idea is that how many ever names I supply to this args, okay, I want those names to be printed along with this value. So all I want to do is this. I want to say colon, okay, and plus, and then name. Okay, let's look at this line, what I just did. I am trying to print out this line as a part of this particular printout statement. So basically, I'm not printing out, I'm trying to print out this line. Okay, so this is my first program, first Java program. And along with that, I am adding this plus operator, and I'm saying plus name. What is this plus doing here? Plus in this context is working as a concatenation operator. concatenation operator. You're concatenating a string, the first part of the string, with the second part of the string. How do you know name is a string? Because you can see in this section up here, I'm saying this is my args, the arguments, which is an array of strings. So I'm going to loop around that array, and for each and every entry that I have inside the array, which is a string again, and I'm specifying that here, I want to print out this entire section. That's my motive. Okay, so this is my simple program, and all I want to do is this program is done. Just one liner, two liner. Okay, once this program is done, what do I have to do? This is not Eclipse. This is out of Eclipse, right? This is not Eclipse, so I have to compile it again. So let's do that compilation. So I go back here and I just say Java C first program.java. I compiled. Good. I want to run this program now. How do I run this? I say Java first program, not dot, remove the dot class extension, and then just say the names that you are concerned about. So this is how you can supply the data. You see, this terminal is an external entity, right? This terminal is an external entity than the actual program. This is your actual program, the class file, dot class file, and this is the entity. This is the terminal, which is a separate entity. So from the separate entity, I'm trying to call this program, correct? So from this separate entity, I want to pass on some information to this method. So basically, all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to put the names from here to here inside this line, args. So args is basically going to accept multiple values that I'm sending at it. Yeah. So let me just try to show you what I mean. I'm gonna just say names like say Hirsch, and then I give a space. Okay, multiple names. I'll give Charles. I'll give Fola. I'll give Shay. I'll give Keith. Yeah. I'll give Gijo, right? So I'm giving these 6 names, and each and every name is basically sent with a space in between. So each and every one of them is basically, let me clear my drawing. Each and every one of them is basically an entry in an array. So this is an array, and in this array, all these guys are an entry, just like that. Every one of them are an entry or an entity within the array. And then all I'm doing is, by running this program in this fashion, all I'm doing is I am sending this entire array into this argument folder. Not folder, sorry, into this argument. Right? And when I run this now, let's see what happens. I'm just saying enter and see the magic. Because I used a for loop, I think it now kind of connects a dot. Because I use a for loop, I am printing all those names along with my text. So there is a reason why the main method is accepting a string of array, so that from an from an external entity, you can send a string of arrays to it. Is this making sense to everyone? Yes, no. I know I spoke about a few things that I didn't really talk in details, like, arrays and loops and those stuff. But then in a high level, is this making sense? Guys, put a thumbs up in your participant list, please.
Yes, sorry. So just a quick question. In terms of, the way you've ran this program using
Mhm.
command prompt,
Mhm.
how often in real life, in companies, we would be using Eclipse and IntelliJ?
You will be using Eclipse and IntelliJ. You will never be executing a main program with an array of strings. That's the first point I want to make here. You will never execute your main program with an array of strings. Main program is just there to kick off your project, and that's it. I'm just showing you why it is there. It is important for you to understand why it is there.
Mhm. Could you have passed the argument in the global space in this case?
What when you say global space, meaning you want to say
Like,
this is,
where you've like instead of writing this collections of arrays in command prompt,
Mhm.
if you had written this program in Eclipse and underneath your class first program, if you
no,
had mentioned static string args equal to Harsh, Charles, Fola, Shay, Keith, and Chijo,
no.
would it run?
No, it won't. It won't. This is how an external entity is trying to communicate with the internal entity, and that's why this is there. If I'm not wrong, you're saying if you create a variable, something like this over here in this line,
Yeah.
and then no, that won't work. No,
Okay.
because you understand that as soon as the Java class gets loaded, the first thing that it will try to look for is the main method. When it tries to look for the main method, it will try to look for this argument, and this argument is right there in here. So from the JVM perspective, this argument is still empty. So so by doing this, I'm supplying the information to the JVM to execute this main program. You understand?
Mhm.
Yeah. So in other way, you can do it in Eclipse from a different angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply run the same. I'm going to simply put the same logic here with the for loop for string name colon args, and then within this I can just put this guy here, and then I can say colon plus and then say name. You see that? So I'm just adding this here, but then this guy will not run by adding this args values in here in this global space. What you can do otherwise is you can go to the run, select the program, click on run configurations, okay? And you get this guy here. And then here, I think over here, I can say arguments. And as a part of program arguments, I think as a part of program arguments, virtual machine arguments, I think this is the one we want to do. So let's just see, Harsh folder, right? And say apply and say run. No, hold on. There has to be another way to do this. Generally, all these different things can be executed from this argument itself. If it is not here, environment, not environment for sure. No, not this. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You see that?
Yep.
From the so now Eclipse is the external entity
Mhm.
using which I'm trying to trigger this program. And you see, run configurations. I'm here, and then inside the arguments, you have this program arguments, And then you can just say Hirsch, Fuller, Jijo, Shay, and just say enter. Just give the space in between. You're going to mimic the same strategy and say run, and that's it. Is this making sense to
Yes.
all? Right? Shay, do you have any questions for me?
Okay, thanks.
Okay, good. Perfect. So that's with that.
So we are saying external entity is communicating with the internal entity.
Exactly my point.
Internal entity is the public static void main.
Yeah,
External is the Eclipse is trying to talk to this class first program
exactly.
and communicating with main. Got it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Perfect. Very good. Yes. Let's move on to the next part, which is the section here. Okay. PSVM is gone. Java package and sub package. All right. So at times you will see the packages are defined in this fashion. Okay. You can see we have to, for example, let's say I want to perform an operation which is called as sysout. Okay, in this main method itself, I want to, okay, let me remove this guy, and I will try to perform a short operation here. That is, I'll say random dot generator, random equals new random, is it? Random dot generate. I'm not writing the right syntax. Hold on. I'm just trying to. Sorry, it's math.random. I am screwing it up. Hold on. It's math.random, right? Yeah, exactly. So math.random. Okay, look. Let me just do a sysout first on this so that it can make sense to you. Let me remove this guy. And I'd say, okay, let me run this program again. You can see this line over here is printing out some value, okay, 0.54, whatever. If I run this again, it prints another value. So it randomly generates some number. That's what this method is doing. So math is a class. Inside that, there is a method called random. If I'm calling this, it generates a random number. If I just say multiplied by 100, then, or multiplied by 10, then you will get a number out of it. If you say 100, then you'll get 2-digit numbers, right? Sorry, 1000. Yeah, you see that? So you can get some random number out of it. And then what we can do is we can just extract out this structure, this section, and then you can get a whole number out of it. Now, if you look into this simple one-liner, okay, and if you just hover your mouse on this class called math, you can see something. You need to start looking at this yellow boxes, guys. And it's very simple to understand this, okay? Just hover your mouse on the entity. For example, system out.println. If you just hover your mouse on system, you see java.lang.system. What are you understanding from this? Let's discuss that. Catch it. I can't catch it. Okay. I mean, I cannot highlight that when it is shown. Okay, let's keep it like this. So you see, Java lang system, java.lang.system. What is this? Java.lang is a package within a package, and system is a class. How will you know that? Generally, the class names are always starting with a capital letter, and package names are all in lowercase. This is the convention the entire Java community follows. So java.lang is a package within a package. Lang is a package and Java is a super package. Okay, Lang is a sub package to the Java package. And inside the Lang package, there is this class called system. And the system class is giving me the access to this out. It's a print stream. And then this out is going to give me the access to a method called println. Now look at this method very clearly. This is the name of the method. Println is a method that accepts anything that you want to print. You can print a string, a double, a fractional character, a Boolean, anything. So anyway, this is the print method, println. And this println method, if you look at the first argument of this method, it says void, meaning what? Println is a method that returns nothing. It's a void, something like main. It's a void. At times you will see a method is returning back something else. So always, whenever you're writing something and you want to really know more about it, just hover your mouse on top of it. Like for this is the one, this is my program, first Java program. Let me hover my mouse on this. What do I see? I see first Java program is the name of the file or the class. And this file is a part of a package called Java first. And that is exactly what it is showing, right? So always try to read and understand whenever you are looking at an entity and it's not making sense. If you hover your mouse on public, it will not give you anything. It's a keyword. Static is a keyword. Void is a keyword. You will not get anything. But if you hover your mouse on a variable, you get some information. What is that? You see, num2 is, you see, this is the name. It's very simple to understand this. It's not a rocket science. Look into it. Num2 is the name of the variable. Simple. This num2 variable is within the class called first Java program. And this first Java program file is within a package called Java first. And this num2 variable is of type int. That's what it says, int. And it is also of type static. That is why you see a S here. You see that? Everything is very well described when you are looking at a program in an editor, which is why the editor is so important. Okay? Always try to read these things to make sense out of it, because all the programs that you will be working on when you start work, when you're going to get a job in automation, they will be giving you the access to their repository, their own code base. And you have to then read through it, whichever program that you'll be implementing or modifying. You will have to read through it to figure it out what other people have written, and then write on top of it or modify it. So it's very important for you to understand how to really read through these programs. Is this understandable? How to get these yellow boxes? It's very simple. Just hover your mouse. Make sense? Yes, no?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. So then Java util, like I said, what is the package thing, sub package and super package. Okay, let's move on to variables and constants. Variable is the name of the reserved area allocated in the memory. A variable is assigned with a data type, which means it can store a specific type of value. When I say int num10, it means you are specifying the data type and you're saying that in the memory of your system, basically your RAM memory, you are creating a location to hold the variable, and the variable is named as number, and it is going to hold integer type of data, and you can assign some value to it. So basically you are creating a simple box like this in the memory. As soon as you execute this program, or as soon as Java runs this program, it creates a simple box, gives a name to it, number, and it is of type int. It knows that because you are specifying it, and it's putting a value inside it called 10. So in future, whenever it has to refer to this value, all you do is you are going to need the number, the name of the variable. The name of the variable is number. So if you just say, get me the value of number, you will get the value 10. That's it. That's the variable. That's how you declare a variable. Okay. Constants, on the other hand, by the way, variable, the name, it is called variable because this value over here can be modified. Today I have 10, tomorrow I can have 20. Okay. And I can keep on changing. I can keep on overwriting this guy over and over again. But a variable that is defined with a keyword called final will not let you do that. Let me show you what I mean. For example, I am having a variable right here. So this is a variable, right? It's static type, but it's a variable. And then I'm going to create another variable. Static. Final. Final means you're saying this variable is a final type. It means nothing will be changed. Int num3 equals 500. Simple. Now you see something that I'm going to show you right now, and you will see that you will see some error. I want you guys to get familiarized with errors, different type of errors. Okay, so let me show you something. Here I can say num2 equals 500. Okay, and you can see there is no error in this line. As soon as I wrote this, there is no error in this line. However, if I see num3 equals 700, equals 700. As soon as I do that, you see, I didn't even run my program. Okay, as soon as I do that, I am getting some error. This line is red now, and it says the final field first name first Java program .num3 cannot be assigned. By looking at this particular message, you can very easily understand the problem. The problem is that it's a final field, means it's a constant, and you cannot change its value. It's understandable. But can you guys tell me something? Can you guys tell me that without even executing the program, how come Eclipse is giving me this problem? Eclipse is able to determine that there is a problem. How come it is possible? Can you tell me that? Anybody? Anybody wants to give it a try? Anybody wants to give it a try? How come Eclipse is aware that there is a problem in the program?
Is it because you used final
No,
on num3 above?
no, no, something else.
The Java, like when we write the code, the Java library will automatically execute it and give us an error.
You're very close. Yes. So there are two different type of errors that you should be aware of. One is
Compiler and runtime errors.
exactly very good. Yes, that is right. So there are two different type of errors that you should get familiarized with. One is called compile time error, and one is called runtime error. Okay, compile time error, runtime error. Now, what is this guy? So as soon as you wrote something in Eclipse, I told you Eclipse can perform the compilation on its own. As soon as you write the line, it compiles, it automatically figures it out that, okay, this is a final, which means I will not be able to, the user should not be able to modify it. And it's giving me this red line and it's showing me this specific message, right? And that is exactly what is happening here. However, runtime error is something that Eclipse cannot figure it out until unless the execution actually happens. For example, so let me just comment this out. For example, if I say sysout, okay? And if I say num2 divided by 0, I'm trying to divide this value with 0. Mathematically, it is not possible. I cannot divide a number with a 0. It's not possible. So if it's not possible, then I should get some error. But this line will not be giving me error during compile time because there is a limitation to the compile time errors. Like it can only fetch or it can only get some errors for specific situations. This is going to throw me with a runtime error. So if I just run this program, and I'll get an exception right there saying arithmetic exception by 0, and look at the error and look at the exception, and then you will get to know more about it. For example, you are looking at it and you're saying that first Java program, line number 23, you got the location, you got the issue. So if you just click on this link, it'll take you to this place. And it shows you that this is the location where the error came from. And you just need to fix that. Obviously, you cannot divide a number with 0. I need to fix that. So there are two different types of errors, compile time and runtime. And that's what is the takeaway here. Okay.
So, Souvik, it would be fair to say that the Eclipse is saying, yes, you're right. You've written the program correctly. You have defined variables correctly.
Correct. Yes.
Everything is perfect.
Yes.
But when you're running it, it's saying it's a runtime error because the equation or the
exactly.
function you've done
And Eclipse
incorrect.
is not saying that to you. Java is saying that to you.
Yeah, sorry, Java is saying Java
is saying that to you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Very good. Okay. So that's that. Let's move on to the next part. Okay. Here is what we need to understand now. Data types. Actually, let me show you this diagram. That will make sense. If you have watched the video, please watch the video again about data types. It's very simple to understand. Nothing really crazy going on here. So there are different kind of data types that this Java language is helping us with. Number one is primitive. Number two is non-primitive. Okay, what is primitive and non-primitive? So primitive data type is basically the data type which was created when this language came in the market like years ago, right? So every programming language will give you the facility to deal with numbers, strings, arrays, characters, and everything, booleans. Every programming language will have the same facility, will have the same feature for the developers to write program which is about which is going to let you store different kind of data. So when this Java program came in the market, they had to think of something similar. So they created this primitive data types, and in this primitive data type there are some segregations. So one is Boolean, another one is in the numeric section you have a integral part and the character part, and in the character part there is a data type called char. There's a data type called Boolean. In the integer part, there are only to store integers. There are 4 different data types: byte, short, long, int. For floating points or for decimal, there are 2 different data types: float and double. So primarily, this is what you have, this entire list of primitive data types that is coming out of the box with Java. Okay, from the day one. Later on, they figured that they should enhance these data types, and they created something called as a non-primitive data type. As a part of non-primitive data type, you have things like string. So what is a string? If you look into the string is nothing but, it's a class. It's a string class. String is a class. Like a Java class, string is also a class, but it has all the feature of being used as a data type. That's all it is, right? String is a class, but it can be used as a data type. You have other things like integer. You see, there's another class called integer. It's a class. It can also be used as a data type. You have float, and I'll tell you why it is required. Then you have Boolean. Okay. Now, why it is important? Why it is important to have a primitive set of data types and almost something similar that is to do with non-primitive? Why it is needed? So, as I said earlier, we had only the primitive data types. Later on, these guys were introduced. And then the string, for the example, string, right? String is what? String is nothing but you're stitching up multiple characters together. So solving, it's multiple characters you're stitching up together to make it as a string or a word or a sentence, whatever it is. So this guy, these characters are basically coming out of the character primitive. So the implementation of string is nothing but stitching up multiple characters into a word. That's it. So string is a class that was introduced later on as a data type to stitch multiple characters to use as a meaningful word or some kind of a word or sentence, whatever it is, to hold multiple characters together. Because you see, if I define as character, for example, if I'm defining a character right here, I'll do it. I'll say char C equals A. Now that is a character I can add. I cannot go and saying B, C. I cannot do that. If I do it, I'm gone. Invalid character constant, right? It's not possible. Character means it can hold one guy at a time. On the other hand, if I say string name equals Savik, what do we see? I see that I'm stitching up multiple characters together. Okay, I think I'm getting the error. No, the error is gone. So you see, I'm stitching up multiple characters together inside one variable. And this implementation, so string is a class, you see? Java lang string. The string class represents character strings. All string literals in Java, such as ABC, are implemented as an instance of this class. So basically, when you are, you wouldn't know what is an instance right now. So I'm not going to try, but I'll talk to you later about it. So basically, this is how it is happening. You're stitching up multiple characters to become a string or a word or multiple sentences, whatever it is, right? Similarly, int is a number. Int num2 equals 100. Int is a number, right? But you also have another guy called integer. It's a non-primitive data type. Integer num3 equals 100. And if you are looking at it, they are actually doing the same thing, but actually not. For example, you have a requirement where you have a string in form of a number. For example, you have a string num4 equals 100, something like this, right? You see, it's a number, it's a string because I'm adding them inside a quote. Okay, this is the actual integers. I'm not adding them inside a quote. But this one, I'm adding them inside a quote. And now, if I say sysout integer, which is a non-primitive data type, it is also a class actually. Integer dot parse int. See the method called parseInt. In the parseInt, I am specifying num4. So basically what I'm trying to do, this is a string, but in the string there is a value which is a number. Correct? Now, I want the string to be represented as a number, not a string, because if I do this, sysout, if I say num4 plus 100, do you know what will happen? Let's run this program. Sorry, let's run this program. Do you see what happened? You see, num4 is already 100, but in form of a string. And when I added 100 to it, which is an actual number, it got simply appended with it. So 100 plus 100, it got appended with it. So string got appended with a number, and it just made this number altogether. This is not what I want. I want to add this guy. I want to convert this guy as a number and then add it to 100. So how can I do it? I cannot do this. I cannot get this thing done to convert a string to a number. I cannot do it with just my int primitive data type. I cannot do that. Okay, so which is why I need another support. I need integer, which is also coming out of java.lang package, and it's a class. You see, the integer class wraps value of the type of the primitive type int in an object. Okay, what is an object? I'll talk about later, but you understand what I'm saying. Okay, you're trying to wrap the value of an integer inside it. So now the method is integer.parseInt. The method, the access to this method is given to us by this class called integer. Without this method, I'll never be able to convert this guy to a number, right? Plus 100. Look at the answer now. I get 200. Perfect, right? I get 200 because I converted this num to an integer and then added an integer, and so I got 200. That's totally fine. Okay, so that's that. Now let's move on to the other part. The question is, why so many data types to store same type of data? That's the question. Okay, look at this. You have integer, just for integer purpose itself, you have byte, short, and int and long. Only for storing integers or numbers, you have this 4 guys, byte, short, int, long. Why is that? It is because it's all depends on its size, the memory size that you're allocating to each and every variable. So the byte is having the lowest number. So if you want to store something, a number between anything between -128 to 127, then you can go for 8 bits. I mean, you think about it, right? When Java came during like early 90s, like during that situation, memory, the hard drive that we are using, it was a costly affair, right? I don't know whether you have seen this or not, but they used to have a huge machine, like a maybe 10 feet machine to perform some to perform some simple computations. And those machines used to run, I think, in coal energy or something like that. They used to convert coal to electric, and then they used to run that machine. It was so expensive and such a big situation just to store, few MBs of data. So from that perspective, if you think, then this kind of segregation makes sense, because they wanted to store things appropriately. They don't want to waste the memory. Correct? If they want to, if they want to store a number, they don't want to, use the data type int. They will use the data type byte, like for a human age, right? If they want to store something really big, then they will go for int, because you see the int is having a much different range. Look at the range here that you can store. Where's this guy? Look at this range. So you can store so much of data here. Long is even further. Okay, you can store the distance between two different celestial objects in long, right? So that is why they had so many data types. But for now, we have so much of memory that if you are dealing with number and you are just declaring it as with int or as a long, I think you are sufficient. You don't have to really go ahead and add them as a byte or short. No need, because memory is sufficient at this stage of the generation, right? Similarly, you have float and value, double. Float is having 32-bit, double is 64-bit. I suppose whenever you're dealing with decimals, just go for double always, and you should be enough to store decimal points. Okay. So that's that. Let's move on to the other part. Okay. Questions, operators, assignment operators, arrays, loops. Let's see how much we can complete today. If not, then I will explain them next week also. I'm taking a quick 5 minutes break, guys. You also take a breather, and then I'll come back and we'll explain things. All right. Thank you. All right, so I'm here now, and we will start talking about a few more things. We're going to talk about operators. We're going to talk about different kind of operators that we have, and then we'll talk about something regarding the arrays. And probably I'll not be able to cover up the loop today. Let's see. So there are different kind of operators, guys. Operators are basically to perform different kind of operations. For example, we have arithmetic operators that can let you perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus. What is a modulus? Modulus is nothing but It can let you know the reminder value when you're performing a division. For example, if you are, let me create a new file again. Class, so operators with the main method. All right. So you're going to declare two numbers, int a equals 100, int b equals 200, or maybe 300, right? And then you can, okay, before I do something, I want you guys to also get familiarized with something called as debugging. It's a very important skills that everybody has to master as a developer. Without debugging skills, you cannot go one step ahead. Okay, so I wanted to learn this. There are multiple ways you can perform debugging. I'm showing you a few of them. I'll keep on showing more later during the course. So I'll put a sys out here. Okay. Why am I putting sys out? I don't want to print anything. I'm not trying to print anything. I want that when my program is executing, I want my program to come at pause. Okay, so I'm writing some more line here. A equals 200. Okay, and then I'm going to write another line called A equals A plus B. Okay, and then I'm going to write another line called sysout A, something like this. So what exactly did I do here? I'm firstly creating two different variables, int A, int B, and assigning it with some numbers, initial numbers. Okay. Number two, I am adding a sysout line here, but I'm not printing anything. Okay. I'm writing this line here so that I can stop my execution in this line. How can I do it? You can put a breakpoint. It's called breakpoint. Let me name this guy. It's called breakpoint. This breakpoint, I will be adding it inside, for this particular line. So just double click on this line number 10. And you can see a small dot here, blue color dot. That's the debugger. That's the breakpoint, not the debugger. That's a breakpoint. The debugger is the mode in which you can enable the breakpoint, or you can inspect the breakpoint, something like that. Okay. So you're just adding a breakpoint here so that you can pause your execution, and then you can run through it step by step. Okay, so in this line number 12, I'm assigning value of A with 200. So the value of A will be not 100 anymore, it will be 200. In line number 14, I'm saying A equals A plus B. So basically the value of A was 200, and then I say A plus B. So B is 300. So 200 plus 300 is 500. The value of A will be 500 now, and then I can print A in line number 16. That's what is happening here in this program. Simple. So I just showed you one operator here right now. I showed you a plus operator. Similarly, you can have a negative, positive, multiplication, division, all the stuff, right? But the important takeaway here is how to perform breakpoints, how to perform debugger. From day one, guys, I want you to add it as a habit. Okay, try to debug and try to figure out what's going on in the program. If you are trying to make a calculation and it's not really giving you the expected result, or if you're getting an error, the first thing is you should be understanding what is happening in the program when it is being executed. Okay, now I want to run this program right now in a debugger mode. How can I do that? Right click on this file. Again, not run as anymore, but debug as. You're going to choose the option called debug as Java application. Just like that, you hit it and you will see this small window comes to you for the first time. It says confirm perspective switch. You will not say switch. You will not say, it will say no. All right. Because this perspective switch means the layout of your entire screen gets changed. Again, I'm saying, don't say switch. Click on this option called remember my decision. So for the next time when you are going inside the debugger mode, you will not see this window anymore. You should not come to the other window. See, I mean, if you're going back to the, if you're changing the perspective, you can again revert back to this perspective, but it will take some time. Okay, you will have to remove some entities here and there. So it's of no use. Okay, this current layout of the screen is enough for you to perform the debugging that we are doing here. Good. So now, okay, so now I say no. And when I say no, you will see that my program is not terminated. Okay, my program is not terminated. It's kind of hanging there. And it is pausing in line number 10. It just paused in line number 10. This is called a debugging. You're debugging your current program to understand what's really happening. How do you debug? So you are at line number 10, that's number 1. You have enabled a breakpoint. Now, you can hover your mouse on top of different entities in this program right now. So in this program right now, there are just 2 entities ideally. Number 1 is int A, which is showing the runtime value of 100. Int B is showing the runtime value of 300. You see that? As soon as you hover on it, during runtime, whatever the value it is, it shows it to you. There is also other way to seeing it. You can use something called as a watch. So just double click on this entity to select it like that. Right click on this and say watch. Very simple. Select this, right click on this and say watch. When you do it, you'll see that the value A is added inside this tab called expressions. And this expressions is a tab where you can see the values right now is 100. Okay, so this environment that you see here is same as of this environment. Again, understand this. This environment that you see here, this expression, is same as of this environment. How do I prove that? So right now the value of A is 100. If I say, I can actually write a small program in this section. I can say A equals to, I'm assigning a new value to it, 500. Hit enter. The value of the A is now changed to 500. So this section where you have updated the value of A is also going to reflect in the actual main program. Now hover your mouse on the actual main program and it says 500. You see that? So basically it is the same runtime in which you are updating the value. But you're doing the value updation right during the execution of the program, which gives you a lot of power to perform the debugging. I can say a lot of things here. I can say, I can write a complete program here. I can say A plus B, just like that, hit enter. And it gives you the value 800, you see that? because it understands that the B value is 300 and I updated A as 500. So the value is 800. I can also say A equals to A plus B and I hit enter. And then the value is 1 minute. Okay. What it did is here, it got the value 800 and it assigned the value to A, I believe. Let me see one thing. Yeah, A is now, okay, let me just stop this program and just do the same thing one more time. All right, I can remove these expressions by deleting it, selecting and deleting it. Delete this, and then I can just debug this one more time to figure out what's happening, right? So this is A. I open up this expressions tab and I can looking at, if I say A, just like that, A, hit enter, it shows the value as 100. So I'm not changing anything right now. So now I'm saying A plus B, just like that, enter. The value is 400. Now let me hover my mouse on A and see what happens. It's still 100, no problem with that. B is still 300, no problem with that. So it is 400, that's good, totally good. Now I'm saying A equals A plus B, hit enter, it's 700. And that is where my confusion is. Okay. What it is doing
Looks
is,
like it's updated the value of A already.
no. What it is doing is, because this expression is there on top, it is considering this on top of this. That's why. Let me prove that to you. Hold on. So I'll remove this guy. And I'm just keeping A and A plus B. Actually, I'll remove both of it and then we'll do it from beginning again. So I'll just say debug as Java application. All right. And then expression. And then I say A, this 100. And I'm just saying in the next line, A equals A plus B. Hit enter. It gives 700. And that is where my confusion is. How come it is giving 700?
Yes, because the value of A already changed to 300 now. It's as if it has already been pre-incremented or something like that. It's no longer 100, it's 300. Now B, no, the value of A is 400 now. B still 300. So now 400 plus 300 is 700.
Sorry,
So wait.
Souvik, I didn't understand why is it given 700.
Yeah, same here. I'm not understanding too. Let's try to understand this. So at this stage, line number 10, I am saying the value of 100, A is 100, B is 300. Let's see. Let me remove this guy. Okay. If I see B is 300. That's perfect. If I say A is equals to A plus B,
400.
it should be giving 400. It's giving 1300. I think what it is doing is it is reserving these values in the memory and then somehow, what the hell? That's really stupid. It should not do that.
Sorry, Souvik, the breakpoint is at number 10, right? The
Yeah,
program hasn't moved beyond number 10 line, right?
exactly. It has not. I'm just trying to look. I mean, it's very simple. I say A is 100, B is 300. A equals A plus B.
Can't you just do A plus B and see what that is?
I can do A plus B, and that'll give me 400. That's fine. Totally
Okay.
fine. But then when I'm using this operation, A equals A plus B, which is also a
now you're saying A. So if A equals A plus B, that means A is 400.
Yeah,
400 plus 300.
It should still give 400, isn't it, for this expression?
it should, but it's giving 700.
No, it's not. It shouldn't be. Because you're saying A equals A plus B.
Okay, let's see the value of A now, yeah? It's a 700.
I think it is storing the data in the local memory.
I think so. You see, B is still 300.
Yes,
B is
yeah.
still 300. And it is A plus B is 4. Okay, you know what happened? Okay, I got it. So this is what happened, right? A plus B is 400. This entire operation is 400. So it is storing this operation as a variable, you can think. And then when you're saying, A equals to A plus B, then it should give the 400. No, that is not the case. Somehow it is storing this value. I don't know why.
So what it's doing, I think A plus B, it's storing the value of A plus B in A.
I think so. Just 1 minute. Let me just do one thing.
But that is line number 14 in your program. That's what I'm saying. If it's the
Yeah,
breakpoint is
no.
at number 10.
It is not executing. It's not executing.
Yeah, it's not gone beyond 10.
It's not gone beyond 10. Yeah, that is really weird though. I have to check. This is A. This is A plus B. 400, that is good. And
Now, can you just do B is equal to A plus B? Let's see what happens.
B equals to A plus B. 500, it says.
Yeah, so the value of, I think,
Yeah, that's very bizarre.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, yeah. B is 300, A is 100. How come it is giving this value?
instead of, okay, so can you try one more thing, please? Can you delete the second line expression and the third? And
Check the
now, can
value.
you do A is equal to A plus B and see what happens?
1100. Something is storing the value somewhere.
Yeah.
This expression is storing the value somewhere. I have to do some research on this to figure this out why it is happening. But let's continue with the class and let me try to finish this off. I'll come back to it later on. But anyways, the point is that this expressions are basically there in order to debug and basically figure it out what the current situation is, right? So anyway, I have A and B here, 100 and 300, that's good. And then if you want to execute your steps step by step, like all these lines, what you do is you can use this option called step over, or step over is the right thing to do. You do step over and you go to the next line, A equals 200, A equals to A plus B. And then when you open, go to the line number 16, you get the value as 700. So the point is that with the help of debugging, you can, at a runtime, you can understand what are the values, and you can also execute one step at a time. That's what it does. Okay, but we will take a look at debugging more and more in future. But I want you guys to start using it as a habit. Put a breakpoint, try to execute, and try to see where the problem is. Hover your mouse on top of it and see what is the value, and then try to kind of make sense that why things are showing it the way it is. I will look into the expression section and see what's going on. But for now, let's move on to the next part. So that's the arithmetic operator. There is something called as modulus operator, percentile. What does it do? Let's say you have B divided by A. What will be the answer? It'll be 3. Sorry. B do, okay. Okay, sorry, my bad. I have to just remove this here. Now, if I go with this program, it's 3, right? No problem with that, correct? But if I am trying to say B modulus A, B percentile A, okay? I get the value as 0. Why is that? So percentile B percentile A gives you the remainder section. For example, I have 300 and I have 200, for example, here. And if I run this, I get the value as 100. Why? Because you got to understand that it's a normal simple dividing rule where you have 300, right? And you have 200. 200 1 times 200, right? And then you get the remainder as 100. So this modulus operator is actually giving you this 100 value. That's it, right? So that's the modulus operator. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Relational operators. It's very important to understand relational operators. What is this? So relational operators are going to result back with something true or something false. For example, I can go and say that here. I can go and say B double equals, not single equal. Single equal means you're assigning the value like this. A equals to 200, you're assigning the value to it. B double equals A means you're trying to equate the left-hand side with the right-hand side. If it is true, then you get the value as true. If it is false, then you get the value as false. I'll do a couple of them. So B greater than equals to A, right? B less than equals to A, right? B not equals to A. See that? There are a few of them that you can try with. So these are relational operators. If I run this program now, I get the value as false. B is not equals to A. B is greater than true. A, yeah, it is true. Again, B is less than A. No, it is not. B is not equals to A. Yeah, it is true. So you see, false, true, false, true. So the relational operator always gives you back the data in a Boolean format. That's what I wanted to show you here. So that's that. Let's move on to the next part. Logical operator. What is logical operator? Logical operator is nothing but you can group multiple relational operators and then get a concrete result out of it. How do I mean? For example, I have A, B, and C. Int C equals 500. Now, I can do a relational operator. So basically, I want to see which one is the greatest. Which one of these three is greatest, right? So I can say, let's do it with the sys out directly. And I'll say within the brackets, I'll say, C greater than equals to B, and you see, and, all right, double ampersand, and C greater than equals to A. You see that? So basically, the same thing that I showed you there is here, but now I can group multiple conditions together, and it's called logical operators. You're logically grouping multiple relational operators. logically grouping multiple conditions. So basically, what happens is when you read this line from left to the right, first this condition will be evaluated. It's an AND operator. You see, these two conditions are stitched with the AND operator. And what does it mean? It means it evaluates evaluates all the conditions if the previous condition is a true. I'm just going to explain this. Previous condition is true. It's true. What do you mean by that? Let me show this to you in a debug mode, and you will see what I mean by that. Something here. C greater than B and C greater than equals to A. What do I mean by this? I'm putting a breakpoint. I'll remove my other breakpoints. And I'll put a breakpoint right here, line number 21. So if there are two conditions here that I want to evaluate, and then I want to get the final result. So I'm saying if C is greater than B, which it is, and C is greater than A, then I want to print out something. Then I want to print out the overall value, right? So it evaluates all conditions. It's an ampersand. It's an AND condition. It evaluates all the condition if the previous condition is true, meaning it will first start with this evaluation. It will check whether B is less than equals to C or not. If it is, then it will automatically jump to the next condition for checking. Okay, I should not say previous. I should say if the current condition is true. Current condition is true. Yeah. Okay. It will automatically. So you check the current condition. If it is true, only then you go to the next condition because it's an AND operator. If the current condition itself is false, then it will not evaluate this. Let me show you what I mean. I put a breakpoint line number 21 and let's run this. Line number 21, I'm stopped. Okay, I'm paused. And it says C greater than B. Is it? Yeah, it is. If I go next line, it goes here. You see that? It's checking the second guy, right? And then it gives you back the result as true. Perfectly fine. Now let's just change this entire strategy. Instead of saying C greater than B, I'll say A greater than B and A greater than C. Let's see what happens. Obviously, from this program, we can easily understand that this is obviously a false. Both the conditions are not going to meet, right? But let's see from the debugging perspective, how does it work? So A greater than equals to B. Is it true? It's not true, which means this line will not be even executed. No, it is executing this. This.
There's two breakpoints in yours.
No, it's not. It is supposed to get out of it. Wait a minute. Am I saying it right with the AND or am I saying it wrong? Oh, no. I think I said it wrong.
Yeah, that looks right. Yeah.
With the OR condition, that will happen. So you are trying to evaluate 1 minute. It's an AND condition. So if the first condition is a false, then there is no point in executing the second condition. Why it is executing the second condition? Let me try with something with the OR.
Because when you use and, I think you need to get both the condition right, isn't it?
No, exactly. Both the conditions right, correct? But then in the first condition itself, it's a fail. So
Mhm.
A is not greater than equals to B. And if that's the case, then this must be going out of it. Hold on. Okay, I'm just trying to do an OR. No, wait a minute. Actually, I'm placing it in the wrong location. I mean, the way I'm placing it inside the sysout is the problem. Wait a minute. I should handle this in the if else manner. I mean, with the if else code, not the sysout manner. What I mean by that is I should do it like this. If A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then I want to do something. This is what I should do. Let me put a break. Let me just comment this out. And I'll do a sysout here now. Sysout, sysout something. Hi there. Yeah. And then let me see something. And then I'll try to put them in two different lines. And then we'll see if this what should do. Okay, here is the line number 26. And let's see. So this is the false condition where it is. This should not come, you know. Let's see. Debug. Okay. Evaluating the first condition. That's it. Do you see? It doesn't come here because I was putting them inside the sysout. That's why it was trying to check both the operation within the sysout system. But if it is actually handled with a if else case, which is how you will ideally do it, you will not be using it inside the sysout. If you do it, then you will see that it will not execute the second operation if the first one is failed. Look here. I will make this back again, C, right? If C is greater than B and C is greater than A, right? Look at this. See, C is greater than B. It is true. It will evaluate the second guy. It has to. And then if it is true, both of them are true, good. Let's go inside and print. Right? This is the logical operator, guys. Is it making sense? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not.
Only thing, Souvik, how did you manage to print true? Because you haven't given anywhere true.
No. It's here, coming from here. These lines.
Oh, right. Okay.
Here, you see all these guys.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not hearing from Charles. I'm not hearing from Keith. Sheetal, Sindhu. How are things, guys? I didn't really hear from you guys in the class at all.
Yeah, it's okay. We are there.
Oh, good, yeah.
Okay. Everything is clear? Okay. Charles, are you okay? Okay.
Yes, everything's clear.
Very good. Okay. All right. So that's that with the logical operators, and let's move on to the other type of operator. So there are three different type of logical operators. One is double ampersand, one is OR, and one is not. Okay. So let's go for the OR. So here the OR is, okay, look at this. OR is something different. So here I'm saying C is greater than B and C is greater than A, right? If I just put it instead of and, if I say OR, let's see if it will evaluate both the conditions or not. It lands in here. It checks if C is greater than B or not. Yes, it is. Which means with respect to OR operator, it doesn't require you to validate the second operation at all. You can directly land inside the if block to print this out. Okay, let's go and say A is greater than B and A is greater than C. So obviously both of them are a failure. We know that. But now the OR will do it in a different way. As soon as it sees it as a negative, it will look for a positive. See this. It'll find a negative. Now it'll look for a positive. It comes there in the second one as well. And it checks whether it's true or not. It's not true anyways. So it'll just come out of the evaluation completely. See that? So this is what you should be understanding with respect to logical operators. All right, pre and post fix operator. What is this? So it's very simple. So the point is that you have a value which is A. A is 200. Let me just say A is equals to 10, something like that. Now, we are trying to understand about prefix and postfix operator. Right? So the idea is that A++, the program that you're writing here is A++. The expression that you're writing here is A++. What exactly it means? It exactly means this. It exactly means that you're saying A is equals to A plus 1. That is exactly what you're writing here. It's a shorthand to write A equals A plus 1 as A++. Okay? This is a postfix operator. Okay? You can also write the same incrementation of A by 1 using ++A as well. A equals to A plus 1. Right? A equals to A plus 1. You can actually see this here. They both are actually doing same thing, but in a different order. Okay? So I'm going to give you some questions here for you to answer, and then just let me know what will be the answer to that operator. A++ and ++A, both of them are adding 1 to it. So if I do this, if I say sys out A++, sys out A, sys out ++A, and sys out A again. I want you guys to understand this logic that I just said, and let me know what will be the printout from line number 40 to line number 44. What will be the printout? Anybody?
11, 11, 12, 12.
So for line number 40, it will be 10. 41, it will be 11. 42, it will be
11 again.
no, it will be 12 and
yeah.
12.
Very good. Very good. This is exactly what it will be. Let's run this. 10, 11, 12, 12. Why it is like that? It will be like this because, as I said, it's a postfix and prefix operator. This guy is a postfix operator. What does it mean? It means that it will definitely increment A by 1, but it will be done post the entire line is executed. So basically, line number 40 gets executed, A gets incremented in the memory, and that is why when you execute the value of A in the next line, you get the value as 11. But on the other hand, you have plus A, which means it will first increment and then print the value. So which is why the 11 got incremented to 12, and that 12 was printed. And then the 12 is not changed anymore in the next line. So 12 is printed again. That's why you see 10, 11, 12, 12. Is this clear to everyone? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. So that's that. Let's move on to the next part. That is the assignment operator. Okay, it is, I'm just showing you one of it. You have already used assignment operator so many times. A is equals to 10. That's an assignment operator. But you can also use something like this. You can say A plus equals to 5. And what does this mean? A plus equals to 5. What does it mean? It means as if you are saying A equals to A plus 5. So basically the result will be 15. You understand? So A is equals to A plus 5 can be written in this fashion. A plus equals to 5. Okay, it's called assignment operator. You can also do multiplication, division, all those stuff. You can say A multiplied equals to, sorry, A multiplied equals to 2, right? You can do that. Okay, and then if you print this value now of A in here, then you should get the value as 30. Yeah, because you added 15 and then multiply with 2, 30, right? That's the assignment operator. Okay, so then we have, okay, I just spoke about all of them. Ternary operator, I'll talk about that later on. Array I have, loops I have. Okay, I will have to cover array and loops in the next class. As I said, sometimes things go a little bit slower. It's okay. At the initial stage, we will be a little bit, working behind the schedule probably. But then I will enable week number 2 with you right now after the class. And please start looking at week number 2. I will talk to you next week initially with array and loop, and then I'll talk about classes and objects and everything in the next week again, right? So the other thing I want to talk about is this was our first class, guys. I would like to understand how did it go? Did you feel any difference between the Udemy training, or what is your take on it as an experience with this class, the first class? Am I going too fast, or are you understanding it? How is it? Charles, what do you want? Do you want to say something?
Souvik, Harshir,
Yeah.
going like watching the videos freehand makes a difference, like coming to the class on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So it gives you context, and yeah, like any questions or anything we have, we can ask during when you're going through the stuff again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely helpful, and I feel the pace is good. It's not fast, it's not slow. It's going fine for me.
Okay, very good. Okay. How about others? Papi, you want to say something?
Yes, the something that I wanted to say is how to upload the assignment
Okay. Let me show you something. In the email that I have sent you last week, if you have watched my email, if you have seen my email, I have actually given you the access to this folder right here, assignments folder. And you can see people have already started uploading the assignments. So basically, this is the assignments folder inside which you have to come, you have to create your own folder location and you can upload it. How to upload the assignments? There is a video here, how to submit assignments. So please watch this video and it should be crystal clear.
Thanks.
Okay. Keith, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think the pace is good. I think it's important to be able to, for me anyway, to be able to review the videos again afterwards because there's a lot of information. A question regarding the assignments: are you going to go through the answers of the assignments at some point to review them, or is that just something?
Yeah, I will be uploading the assignment answers, and from next week onwards, probably we have to dedicate some 30 minutes time to run through the answers once, so that you guys are comfortable with it.
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Okay, good. Gia, do you have any questions? Do you have any concerns?
No, actually, I found really useful that you code while you are in the class. So like I can kind of do parallel with Eclipse and try to see like how it works. So I found this really helpful actually. And also having the videos the week before and going through, and then like on Saturday, you go through the same things is really helpful. Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Sindhu, this was your first class, I suppose.
Yes, this is my first class and not a smooth onboarding as I expected, but yeah, I'm getting along with it.
Okay.
Hopefully I'll be finishing the assignments, but the pace is good, as Charles mentioned, but yeah, the one thing which I asked you is, will you be going through the assignments we submit and you give the feedback, or we all will go through it together?
Listen, what I do is I pick up some of the assignments randomly, and then I see how it is going with you guys. If it's really nasty, then I will send you a feedback.
Okay.
But ideally, what I do is I give you my solutions as well, so that you can compare and you can see the difference. The idea for the assignments is this: you need to basically start coding.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to start coding, and you need to start coding in a organized manner, so that you start building your muscle memory. Okay, to write public static void main. Okay, you have to basically get into that habit. So the assignments are there to improve your muscle memory as well as your cognitive skills, to help you do research on the Google, because at times the assignments are implemented in a way where you don't have an answer right with you right now, and then you start Googling around and try to figure it out. So all these steps are required to be a developer. We don't have everything in our hand, but still we have a tendency to kind of research and figure it out, right? So this is what I'm trying to build with the help of the assignments.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Good stuff. All right, thank you guys. I will enable week number 2. Let me know if you don't see week number 2. Just ping me in WhatsApp or Slack, and then I'll enable it for everybody. But anyways, if you don't see it, then let me know. And then let's come back next week, and I will just start from where I left. Okay, and I will upload the current today's recording in this location, in this file. Okay, so that you can review it if you want to. Okay, Perfect.
Thank
Have a great weekend, guys. Have a great week ahead, and see you next weekend sometime. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.